Good day, doodlers. Welcome to Draw Cartoons. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw Big Chungus, a big meme who's made a big entrance. Make sure you watch the whole video because, as always, I've got some great tips for you today. You're going to need a pencil, paper, an eraser, and a Sharpie to go over your sketch with. Let's go. Let's get started. But first, if you want to learn to draw the fast and easy way, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that bell. Let's begin. So to start off this drawing, we have to start with a pear shape. So let's just start up here. This is going to be where his head is. And the pear is going to be a bit bigger on the left side than it is on the right side. So just kind of curve it out a bit more on the left side than you do on the right. You reach the bottom. You'll see what I mean in just a moment when I finish drawing my own pear. So here we can kind of see there's the top of the pear, if you imagine just like a little stalk at the top, and it looks like it's just kind of leaning to the left a little, leaning to the right a little bit. This side's a little bit bigger, and that'll get our shape of Big Chungus just right. So let's just draw in some ears. We're going to draw in some big pointy ears at the top, either side of the head. Just like that, just nice simple upward curving shapes. And just by the way, you are working with your pencil at the moment. Don't jump into using your Sharpie just yet. This is all with a pencil, because we want to make sure we get all the shapes right, and then we'll go over it with a Sharpie at the end. So just drawing the insides of those ears, they're pointing a bit to the right side, so we want to draw the insides of the ears a bit on the right side of those as well. So we already kind of get this impression he's facing this way. So let's move on to the face. About here, where the pear begins to start curving out a bit, we just want to draw a small bump. Just a small one like that, just gently with your pencil. Now that's just going to give us the shape of the face for later, but we're actually going to save that for last. Let's move on to the feet. So obviously either side of the pear there's going to be 2 feet. The foot on this side is way more visible, so we're just going to start with that one. So near the bottom, draw the heel and curve out a bit, and draw a line across, curve down just slightly, and then up and over for the toe, like that. Try and get that shape going on there, so you kind of go down just a little bit, and then you curve up and over like that. And then you just kind of want to do that 2 more times for the rest of his toes. And when you draw the back toe, the third toe, just carry on until you curve back into just underneath his belly here. Now while we're at it, we might as well draw the other foot. So the other foot kind of starts here, and it's really hidden away because of the angle that he's stood at. So you just draw a lot less of the foot, but again we're going to do those 3 up and over shapes next to each other. Again, just a really nice easy way of drawing cartoony toes. And you might want to draw a line here, just like I have. That's where the kind of fur color changes. This is all white here, and this is all grey. So you just might want to draw a little line there to show that. Now we might as well move on to those arms. So there's going to be one here and one here. I'm going to start with this one. So I'm just going to draw a line here where the pear begins to curve out, and just kind of follow the shape of the pear a little bit until it gets to about here. And when I get there, I want to draw a line across that cuts through the pear a little bit. And this is actually going to be the end of his glove, where his glove sits over his wrist. You want to draw kind of like a sausage shape, just like that, that goes through the pear. Don't worry about it overlapping, because we are working with a pencil at the moment, so you can rub out anything that you don't want later with an eraser. I'm just going to draw a curve for the inside of the arm here. Now to work on that hand's going to be tricky, but just follow closely, and I'm sure you'll grasp it in no time. So starting here, a thumb that kind of flicks towards the belly a bit, and then comes back and stops. And when it stops, we need to draw the other 3 fingers. So all they are, kind of similar to how we drew the toes actually, it's just 3 curls that kind of go in and out like this. Out and then up. Like that. And if you can, try and make it so that it looks like this finger is on top and these ones are sitting underneath. And the way you do that, you draw this finger first, and then you just kind of draw these coming out of it like that, so it kind of looks like that finger's resting on top of the others. Really gives you a nice 3D shape. Now let's finish off the glove here with 3 lines. And now we're going to draw the other arm. So again, we're going to curve out here where the pear begins to kind of curve out, follow the shape of the body, and when we get to about that length, we're going to draw the other end of the other glove. Okay, so again, just a nice kind of, well, I guess this is more like a boomerang shape. Oh, not quite a boomerang. I guess maybe more like the end of a fingernail. And that's just going to be the end of the glove where it kind of sits over his wrist. And then we're going to draw the other hand. So again, just the thumb that comes out and back towards the hand. And what do we do here? We draw those 3 fingers again. So we're going to draw one on top, and don't worry about overlapping, don't worry about that. We just won't draw that line in when we go over this with a Sharpie later. So then another finger sitting underneath that one, and a last one just kind of rounding off and sitting underneath this end of the glove that we drew earlier. Now don't forget those 3 lines. There, he has 3 lines on each of his gloves, very, very cartoony. Now for the face, a little bit tricky, but don't worry, I'm here to walk you through every single bit. So I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit now, because we're done with the rest of the drawing. So let me bring you a little bit closer. There we go. So, bringing it to the middle. So, about here, do you see where we drew this this bump earlier? Come away from this and just draw a small upside down triangle for the nose, about here, about that sort of distance from the bump. Underneath this, we want to draw kind of a wide W shape, a very soft W, like this. That just about gets to the end of the pear-shaped guideline that we drew before. We're going to come back to this side. Let's just draw a curve that kind of goes across where we finished and then away. And we immediately get this kind of like chubby cheek shape going on here. So I'm just going to finish off with the mouth, but before I do that, it's a bit easier to draw in these big buck teeth. Let's just draw those underneath the lips. And all it is just kind of like a big cup shape, and then a line down the middle to show where the teeth divide. Coming back to here, we can now draw kind of like a backwards J shape that just curves under and finishes under the teeth. And you might want to finish that off with a tongue. And the tongue is just kind of like an up and down, and then an up and down like that. And we straight away get this kind of fold in the middle of his tongue right here, just like you and I have. Underneath that mouth, you might want to draw in his chin now, just like a little curve underneath the mouth. And then another bigger one underneath, because he's a big fat fella. He's got like another chin going on just underneath this chin. So just like a little fold there. Now is a good time to kind of finish off the shape of the mouth. So going off the edge of the mouth here, you can just kind of match it up with this bump that we drew on the outside of the face. Just kind of match that up there. And while we're at it, before I forget, something I didn't draw on my original sketch, there's actually another bump like this, going over just over the shoulder. So just draw a bump there underneath the original one and just before the shoulder. And we're actually going to erase this line later, but again, don't worry about things overlapping, we'll look at that at the end. So moving on to the rest of the mouth, just draw a small bump here that kind of gets to where we drew our cheek earlier, stops but then continues by going up and around just like this, and you can go all the way to the back of his head and then a bit towards his chin and then stop. When you stop here, start again here and just kind of draw the pattern down towards his hand. Okay, so I'll carry this on in just a moment. I want to carry on drawing the face for now. So let's tackle those eyes. He's got an eye here, just where we drew this kind of bump here. Just an eye going over. A line that goes through the eye, but it's at a slight angle. It's kind of like a very lazy looking angle. Don't draw it, let me just show you what I mean. Don't draw it too straight like this, or even like this. It'll show kind of the wrong emotion. His eyelid's actually shaped more like this. Makes him look very sleepy and dozy. So draw the eyelid at that kind of angle, and underneath it, an eye right smack bang in the center of the overall eye, a pupil right there. Now the other eye, a little bit easier to draw. Just start at the end of the nose and curve it towards the end of the guideline that you drew before. You want to do the same shape eyelid, kind of slanting down like that. And now we'll draw the other pupil, not in the center of the eye, but on the left side of the eye. And that gives us more of an impression that he's looking at us. If we were to draw it in the middle, he'd look kind of like he's looking out here somewhere and not at us. We want him to be looking at us. So we're nearly done. We'll draw a big slug of an eyebrow up here, just a curvy, thick black eyebrow. And then another one here, just on the edge of that guideline there. We'll add in a few small whiskers, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And let me just zoom back out again for you so that we can see where that pattern ends. So see where I ended here? I'm just going to carry this on, and it just kind of gets to his hand here, goes underneath his hand. If you can just kind of picture that, you don't have to draw that, and then finishes off at the bottom of his belly, and you can join it up with his foot here. It'll look a bit better if you do that. So our sketch of Big Chungus, oh, it's nearly done. We actually need to add a small tuft of hair here, so just draw a few spikes of hair. There we go. So our sketch of Big Chungus is actually done. So get your Sharpies ready. We're going to go over all the lines that we want to keep, and we're going to end up with a really, really awesome drawing of Big Chungus. Go over the lines you want to keep with your Sharpie, wait until it's dry, and erase the sketch underneath with your eraser to clean it up. And there we go, your very own pretty spot on drawing of the one, the only Big Chungus. And remember, if you want to continue to learn to draw the quick and easy way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Until next time.